attacked in the Strait of Hormuz. This is the first time in 9 it makes. It's a cargo ship that had just passed through the Strait of Hormuz. It was attacked by Iran, a strike that leaves any sort of an agreement between Trump and Iran as shaky and amorphous and undefined. And how many synonyms can I come up with on that, as it already was, is in question tonight. Now, what we know about this attack is that a cargo ship was hit by a one-way attack drone, according to the Wall Street Journal, which also reports that the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps was responsible. Now, Tehran is just showing the obvious here, though, but this action speaking louder than any word, showing that, yes, they are still in control of the Strait of Hormuz. They can shut it down whenever they want, despite what Trump just claimed.
As long as they respect us. I don't want to use the word fear because that's an inappropriate word. But as long as they respect us, we're not going to have any trouble. I don't know about that. We have total control of the strait.
Now, obviously, if you have total control of the strait, other countries aren't bombing ships in the strait. Okay, that's just to state the obvious. And it's not the only thing that we've been pointing out, that Iran and the United States are just having completely different tales about. Trump says there's not going to be any that there will be nuclear inspectors inside Iran. I'm sorry. Iran is adamant that there will not be. Iran's president said its missiles are also not part of the agreement, saying, quote, the discussion over our missiles does not exist in the memorandum of understanding, and it never will, which is really mind-boggling, because Trump said when he started the entire war, as one of the core tenets of the reason that he bombed Iran was to limit the country's missile program.
Our objectives are clear. First, we're destroying Iran's missile capabilities, and you see that happening on an hourly basis, and their capacity to produce brand new ones, and pretty good ones they make.
It raises big questions about this so-called agreement.
So-called agreement and the negotiations. I mean, part of the 60-day negotiation.
I mean, it just lets you know that Iran now controls the strait. It's a major point of leverage. And if Israel don't cut the ish in Lebanon, then the strait will be closed again. And we were just getting gas prices under control. But once again, Israel want to mess that up for us. Then all the Fox News pundits want to do is talk about how we just need to double down on what was failing. And then they just ignore the fact that, if Iran escalate things any further, the entire global economy is cooked. And then Trump already snitched on us. He said we're 4 weeks away from our strategic reserves hitting critical lows, aka gas prices are going to skyrocket in about 4 weeks. And then it was going to get even worse because the strait's not open. Oh, and then God forbid that China what was it? They reduced their endpoints by 40% to kind of help out with gas price. God forbid they take back in that 40%, along with the strait being closed. Yeah, everybody's cooked. There's going to be a huge fuel crisis.
A 60-day deal that reopens the Strait of Hormuz says that in exchange for the United States removing the naval blockade, that Iran will ensure, or to the best that they can, ensure the safe passage of these commercial vehicles or vessels through the Strait of Hormuz. That is clearly not what they did here. It does not say only have these vessels go through Tehran's route. And that is what we heard from the Iran Revolutionary Guard. They had put out a statement before they actually attacked this ship, and they said in it that it's that safe passage through the Strait.
Hey, and shout out to my man Billy Cobb. He sent the Laughing Disco for 250 jewels. Appreciate the support. And because you started us off, you get a celebration. Razor blade. All right, man. If you also want to see dancing Kim Jong-un again and his smooth-ass moves, go ahead and send a little bit of support in. Appreciate the support, guys. And let's get right back into it. And don't forget to double tap that screen or smash the like button, depending on how you are watching.
Was limited to routes designated by Tehran, and that other routes were unacceptable and completely dangerous. Well, they're dangerous because of Iran and Iran striking them. They're flexing every single muscle they have here, saying they control the strait, saying that if you don't listen to the way that we want to control the strait, we are going to attack you. And that's what we saw here. Now, what's also interesting about this is there's been no comment from the White House on this. And what we've seen really in the past several days is that the White House, the administration, has been willing to not necessarily give Iran any kind of leeway here, but trying not to rock the boat. They want this deal to work. They want these negotiations to go through, and they want to be out of this war. We've known that for some time. President Trump looking for this off-ramp. But what this does is that technically it appears it actually breaks the deal. If it is Iran that is attacking the ship when they were supposed to be, to their best of their capabilities, keeping these vessels safe through the Strait of Hormuz. So what does that mean for the naval blockade? And again, we have not heard any actual comment from the White House on this, but of course we know they're watching this very closely as they're trying to get through this negotiating period and get a final deal on the table.
Iran is sending the world a message. We're in control of the strait. You follow the routes we designate, or we're going to hit your ships. But even more important, the statement from the Persian Gulf Strait Authority, which has responsibility for tolls, is making the same kind of statement. So it indicates that they're going to be imposing tolls or fees. In a sense, they're
too late. Like I said, Egypt and Jordan and other countries in the Middle East have already reported that they're paying $2 million a pop for their ships to get through the strait. So Iran is already collecting tolls. Already, guys, they've already been making money. Sadly, this is just the sad reality of this conflict, because now we left Iran in control of the strait. And I know Donald Trump want to sit here and give you the propaganda of, oh, no, we control it. We have total control. But I mean, all right, if that's the case, then why did Iran just fire off at a ship? And why is everybody now turning back? Because Iran controls the strait.
They're almost mocking the president because he has given away so much of our leverage by lifting the sanctions and unfreezing assets. So I think what has to happen now, the administration has to think very hard about suspending the lifting of sanctions and the unfreezing of assets to regain our bargaining power, because clearly Iran is far from taking us seriously. This is a very ominous step.
Yeah, I mean, well, and there doesn't seem to be anything that they're in agreement on. As I said, it's confusing what was signed, when, and by who. All of that is confusing. But missiles are in it. The other side's missiles aren't. Nuclear inspectors are in it. No, they're not. The strait's open, or we control it. No, we control it. There's not a single thing they appear to agree on, actually, except for the fact that Iran was getting money. And
the inspection issue is absolutely key, because if you recall, when a lot of us went along with the JCPOA, we insisted that there be airtight inspection and verification by the IAEA. Now the Iranians are saying no oversight, no verification, no inspection has been agreed to. That's a real.
Now, what they actually said was that we're not giving no type of oversight. We're not giving the U.S. no type of oversight until sanctions have been fully released. So they want full sanction relief for us to be able to put the IAEA back on there and get the inspectors back on the ground. So this is what Iran is actually pushing for. Before they give away any type of, or before they let any type of inspectors back on the ground. This is why they pretty much were telling us, whoa, hold your horses before you tell your people you're about to let inspectors on, because you need to go ahead and release the sanctions first. And this is what Iran is, standing 10 toes on.
And okay, so I want to ask you about something else here in the Middle East, actually. You're demanding an investigation into something very specific, which is reports of a secret $500 million investment by an Emirati royal from the UAE into the Trump family cryptocurrency business. So there's this $500 million investment that you want investigation into. And this investment was made just 4 days before Trump's inauguration. That's the timing of it. Wall Street Journal first reported it and said it was an Emirati royal who was involved. So the Trump administration very soon thereafter gave the UAE access to special chips made by NVIDIA. What questions do you have here?
Well, this deal, Aaron, is probably the most overtly corrupt deal.
But all right, though, let's go ahead and get back to President Trump now that we understand what's going on in the Strait. And I'm telling you guys, look, don't believe the propaganda that the administration is feeding you on this. And trust me, I'm telling you, this is somebody who actually voted for Trump himself. But come on now, is it not a bit obvious about the results of this war? We have not gotten anything out of Iran, and Iran's getting everything they want. And this sanction relief is going to only enrich Iran. Like, let's just be real.
You have numerous straits, and if you did that for them, you'd have to do it for other people. You have other straits. I wouldn't allow it there either. Yeah, it would be a game changer.
And have you made progress on munitions building in Europe? That's obviously something.
Yeah, we always make progress. Some of the countries that he represents are as good as him. He's great. They're lucky they have him. They're lucky they have that guy.
And the production.
Okay, behind you.
Congress voting to end the war with Iran, even in a non-binding way, impacts your negotiations with Iran?
So we're doing great in our negotiations with Iran. Right in the middle of one of the key things, which we're going to get anyway, we have breaking news. The Senate has voted that they'd like Trump to stop the war.
Yeah.
So Iran sees that and they go, what's that all about? Now, you know it's meaningless, right? But I had lunch with them. We had 4 Republican senators and all Democrats.
This is what Democrats here.
They want to lose the war.
It's not that they want to lose the wars, as they see continuing this war is only hurting the U.S. But this was pretty much going on. The Senate passed the War Powers Resolution 50-48, so it was kind of close, to block unauthorized military action against Iran. So AKA Trump's pretty much gotten kind of stripped of his war powers. Now you can't act without Congress. Now four Republicans joined most Democrats. Trump called it meaningless. Yeah, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I think they already approved the first one. So what they're doing here, it kind of doesn't really matter, but we'll see, guys. We'll see.
Because they're stupid. That's why we call them Democrats, you know? I no longer use the E. I've changed the E into a U. We call them Democrats. They're dumb. Their policy is so bad. That's why they are opposed to the Save America Act because they don't want voter ID. They don't want proof of citizenship. You know why? Because they have to cheat. Their policy is so bad that if they don't cheat, they wouldn't win an election. They're phenomenal cheaters. And they stick together. But you know, the people, the Democrat people, are 87% in favor of the Save America Act.
Mr. President. Last night, of course, as Peter pointed out, we saw.
Hey, shout out to my man Anonymous for gifting 1 membership, dog. Appreciate the support. Shout out to my man Anonymous.
Razor blade.
But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get right back into it. And you actually, shout out to my man Monty coming again. He says, over 4,000 millionaires created under Elon, 1 created under Bernie himself. And that is true, though. Bro, what this is? It said people in the cafeteria, people in SpaceX that's in the cafeteria, not the boardroom, executive room, but in the cafeteria became millionaires overnight. I was like, God bless. God bless. I can't even get mad at that. And you got to be, and that's what I've been talking about. I mean, like in Elon's case, that is trickle down economics in a way, but in other people's case, like Bernie or another bigger corporations, I mean, we don't see that a lot. We do need to see more guys like Elon that's actually out here creating millionaires in such large numbers. Because I don't really know another billionaire's numbers you could put up like that. Please name me another billionaire that created 4,000 millionaires, over 4,000 millionaires overnight. Just name me another one. As much as we don't like Elon politically, name me another billionaire that did that.
Loving father or mother dies and they leave it to their beautiful child. The child is supposed to pay 50% tax. That's on top of federal tax, right? So basically you're leaving him nothing. What you're doing is you can be liberal, you can be anything. It's common sense. You're forcing people to leave. And these are the people that pay the taxes. They pay 90% of the taxes and they're leaving New York and they're leaving California too. Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. President. You said yes to the jet engines, but you're a very direct, very straightforward, no-nonsense man, as you've known in Turkey as well. What needs to happen for the F-35 deal to be finalized? What do you need to see?
Why don't you answer that question, JD? I want to give you an easy.
Okay,
That's an
thank you,
easy.
sir.
He's done a great job over there, by the way.
Well, I know that Pete and the entire team are reviewing this right now because There are certain things that we have to certify that have happened in order to comply with American law. The president has asked us to do that. We're running the traps and confirming that's happened. This is really a congressional thing and ensuring that Turkey has complied with American law so they can get the F-35s. And of course, we'll announce that when we have that release.
Yeah, we're going to work. Look.
Hey, yo, Israel about to lose their shit. Come on now. If you give Turkey the F-35s, Israel is going to start tripping. But, I mean, hey, it is what it is. If they're going to pay the price, sure, give it to them. I mean, the problem is, though, is that, like I said, it's funny how it kind of seems like we're going against Israel. Because Israel just called Turkey the new Iran, and here we are giving these guys F-35s. Like, you know what, guys, man, good luck. Look out, man. Israel, they're hunting people, okay? They're hunting countries, and they're knocking them over. Just look at Lebanon. Hopefully it don't turn out that way. But all right, guys, let's get right back into it.
The man who
shout out to my man Monty. So I know 20 people that are 5+ millionaires. Exactly. I mean, God bless. God bless. I can't be mad at that. I don't know. Some people want to be, but hey, I think mainly people are just mad at Elon seeing $1 trillion. I think that's what they're mad about. If you explain the 400,000 millionaires, average people who just went to millionaires, then it's just like, come on, can you really be that mad? Can you?
A little controversial, but I am too. But I know him. I think he's a very good person. He's helped us a lot. He really, anytime I've helped, like as an example, I said, I'd love you to stay out of the war with Iran. That's a natural for him, right? He stayed out. I like him. A lot of times when they have a problem with Erdogan, they call me and they say, would you talk to him? They'll call me. They'll say, could you do me a favor and talk to him? You have a question in the back? No, yeah, in the back. I love your questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier today, you instructed your Department of Justice to do an investigation for oil companies that you said gas prices were not coming down quick enough, and you are concerned that there is price gouging going on, taking advantage of the crisis. Sir, can you elaborate on that?
So it's ExxonMobil, it's Chevron, it's Shell, it's BP, it's a lot of them. The gasoline or the oil prices have come down so much, and we are not seeing anything at the pump by comparison to what it should be.
I mean, yeah, because sadly, just like with inflation, prices are quick to rise, but slow to come down, Trump. That is a sad reality. But and here's the thing. I get what he's talking about, though, because it's like, yo, we're almost at pre-war levels, but we're not at pre-war price. And I'm like, yeah, that might be due to a little bit of price gouging, but also it's because we're missing like 1.1 billion barrels of oil out of the global supply. So that's also why prices aren't coming down, is because of that supply crunch right there. Like, yeah, so trust me, I get what he's saying. Like, what you mean? WTI crude's at 70, Brent crude's at 73, price should be the same. And it's like, no, so we're still missing that 1.1 billion in barrels of oil. So there's that. And if you could replace that, then yeah, prices will go back down. But until then, we kind of got to deal with that and, catch up. Oh, and shout out to my man Monty. So I just got off a 30-day straight push for 30 days for the V3. We worked our asses off to change the world. I mean, when you're putting in work like that, man. And shout out to my man Monty, our residential SpaceX employee, soon to be going to Mars. You never know. You never know, bro. You never know. But all right, man. Shout out, bro. And all right, guys, let's keep it going. Well, there we go.
We should be, in my opinion, at $2.25 right now at the pump. And we're higher than that.
Nah, I wish.
And we are doing a big investigation on it, yeah. They're not reducing the prices commensurate with what's happening. Look, we are sending out, think of it, 19 million barrels came out yesterday. That is a flood. That's like a gusher. That's an oil gusher. And they should be much lower, the gasoline prices, which really is what people see more than anything else, but for their car. But the gasoline prices should be much lower at the pump. And the oil companies are possibly gouging. I hope they're not. Otherwise, they're going to be in big trouble. They're going to be in big trouble. We're not going to play games.
Have you spoken to them, sir? Have you spoken to the oil executive today about this?
I told them, don't gouge our people.
Oh, trust me, I wish that was the truth. I wish it was just price gouging, but no, it's really just more than 1 billion barrels of oil have gone missing. And let's get right into it here. So let's just get into the CNN article, CNN Business. I know, CNN, but guys, let's not talk about the source. Let's talk about who they are citing. But all right, the good news, the Strait of Hormuz is open again after Iran and the United States signed a memorandum of understanding this week. The bad news is it might be too late. Oil hasn't been coming out of the Middle East for nearly 4 months. All told, the world has lost 1.15 billion barrels of oil supply during the war, according to analysts from Kelper. Yes, I'm saying this is what they're citing. So don't remember, it's not CNN who's saying this. It's these bastards from Kelper. I know they're the ones that's giving us this bad news. And that has left the oil market in a precarious state. Now, my bad, and it's rapidly approaching a breaking point. The International Energy Administration strategic petroleum reserves are at their lowest level since the 1990s. The American emergency reserves is at a 43-year low. So, guys, my main point in reading this was to show you that, well, guys, it's not about these guys price gouging. It's that we're missing a whole lot of oil from the oil supply, and this is why prices have not gone down, because we're still dealing with somewhat of an oil scarcity. Somewhat. All right, well, let's go ahead and get right back to it.
There's a report that you're going to present the World Cup at the front.
I am. Well, I've been asked to by soccer, by football, by Johnny. Johnny's done a great job. By the way, how hot is this?
And the Dutch are doing very
How
well.
hot is it? You're doing well. We're doing
very well.
Maybe we'll play you in the finals. No, but how hot?
And they'll have to beat it.
How hot has it been? It's been great. You know, they came to the United States, which isn't a big, as they would say, football, but we can't because it's too confusing. We say soccer, but it's not very big at that. And this is the biggest they've ever had. They've never had anything like it. The numbers are bigger than any number, and there's great spirit. There's tremendous.
The Dutch king and queen.
I think Johnny has done a fantastic job. And yes, he has asked me to hand out the cup.
And will the fencing around the reflecting pool be down by July 4th, or is that going to be
the pool?
Yeah,
it's in great shape.
The reflection pool, I ain't gonna lie. People say that there was vandalism, but I'm gonna be real with you. I think that there might have just been a bit of a hiccup with constructing the reflection pool. Somebody might have effed that up instead of there being actual vandalism. I think we might have just got our science wrong, or the Trump administration or the guys who constructed it just got their science wrong. They probably need to go back to science class. But shout out to my man Noah Joyner. He says we should be using gallium cooling systems in the AI data centers. It will mostly fix the water usage issue. Yeah, and what was it? I think that was the CEO of the video was actually, I believe, says